Hello again, everyone. Edwin Learnard back once again. In this YouTube astrological segment, I'm going to be talking about the transit Sun square opposition or inconjunct the natal Black Moon Lilith. Now, in astrology, transits of the Sun are connected with one's focus, our attention, uh, our concentration of energy, life, actions, what we want. And when you have the transit Sun making a square opposition or even an inconjunct to the natal Black Moon Lilith, you're talking about basically an adverse aspect. And this can manifest in the focus, the attention, our life, actions, our concentration of energy, what we want. In areas we may want to shine in, even may conflict perhaps with the dark side of the energy of the Black Moon Lilith, the dark side. I mean, you'd say the transit Sun is in Leo and it's squaring your natal Black Moon Lilith in Scorpio. Well, that may manifest in the Sun. What one wants is more about extroversion, gregarious, being flamboyant, getting attention. And the Black Moon Lilith might be over in Scorpio. Scorpio may be overly secretive to an extreme. So those are the kind of ways that this could manifest in that, like in that example. And the thing about this too is, I mean, the Black Moon Lilith is connected with the dark side and the very negative manifestation of the sign it's in. Now, the thing about this too, and something about, I mean, when you have this transit as well, um, sometimes it could indicate, what we want to focus on at that time, may be conflicting, with that really negative energy of the of the Black Moon Lilith. And the thing about this is the Black Moon Lilith is also connected with the formidable adversary. It can be a situation where your life may be disrupted by a powerful enemy. Again, going back to, say, if the Black Moon Lilith is in Scorpio as an example, it can be an enemy that might be very vengeful, vindictive, might even be a very strong provocateur, trying to get you to get upset and provoke you in some manner to get you in trouble. And maybe even using guile to get you in some kind of situation that might be to your, strongly to your disadvantage. And another thing about this too is, I mean, the Black Moon Lilith can be connected with nefarious energy. And again, going back to the fact that the Sun is about one's life, the thing about this is that your life may be disrupted or being conflict or may conflict with something nefarious. It could be something in your neighborhood. Say if it's in your third house, it might be something with your neighbors as an example. If the Black Moon Lilith is in the fourth house, say if it's in Leo in the fourth house as an example, it can be a very domineering, maybe even tyrannical home or family member and someone you're close to home with. And say if the transit Sun was in Taurus, that would really, I mean, indicate that a life of peace and tranquility and harmony may be disrupted by that family member. And it's in a life of stability at that time. The good thing about this transit, though, is that it only lasts about 5 days on average. If you're using a 3-degree applying aspect and a 2-degree separating aspect, remember the Sun moves about 1 degree per day. So the transit itself may only last about 5 days, but keep in mind that you're going to have this happen, this kind of aspect, basically adverse aspect, happen 5 times a year, because you're going to have two squares, you're going to have an opposition, and you're going to have two inconjunct aspects. Now, anyway, going back to this interpretation of it, is that the thing about this too is in some cases the Black Moon Lilith can even reflect death in some cases. So what it can indicate, it might, I think it could actually mean an actual, a figurative death in some cases, like an obliteration of something, putting something to an end. It might be harder to take action on putting something to an end at this time. If this is in, say if your Black Moon Lilith is in Capricorn in the 7th house as an example, it could be a depressing or limiting type of relationship. Um, It might be, and in some cases, if it is an actual literal death, it might be harder to focus on your own life and your own, actions that you need to do, the things that you want, because you might be trying to cope with a death of somebody. If the Black Moon Lilith is in the fifth house, as an example, it could be a child, it could be somebody that you were in a romantic connection with. This could be situation to looking at this. The Black Moon Lilith is also connected with suffering. So it might be, in some cases, it could be physical suffering due to the fact that the sun is connected with physical body, and the Black Moon Lilith is associated with suffering. So it could be a physical issue which might be bringing more suffering than usual. And if the transit sun is in Gemini, say, it could be something like with the arms, the hands, the shoulders, could be something like carpal tunnel syndrome, an issue with the lungs and breathing. Uh, Another thing about the Black Moon Lilith is that it also reflects what one doesn't want unveiled. And it might be a situation where maybe, it could be a situation with a biological father, a child, an authority figure. Maybe something happens where one of those people find out something that you don't want unveiled. Maybe there's a secret you're keeping that's causing, maybe it might be difficulties in, really, as far as conducting your own life, taking actions in something. Maybe it's having a wear and tear on your vitality and energy, because the sun can be associated with that. Now, the thing about this too is that or it could be a situation where something was unveiled that you didn't want unveiled, and it might be causing the situation with the biological father, a child, and authority figure to be more tense than usual. The Black Moon Lilith could also represent somebody that plays a provocative or prominent role in your life scheme. So this could be a situation where, the sun being your own basic wants in your own life, things you have to focus on, may be challenged by somebody that's playing a prominent role in your life, and it's harder to get your things that you want to do, that you want in your life, done as a result. And say if the transit sun is in Sagittarius, it might be it might be something connected with sports or philosophy or religion, some kind of adventure or exploration, foreign travel, and those things you may want, but the person that's represented by the Black Moon Lilith placement may be conflicting with that. And also too, Black Moon Lilith can be also associated with obsessive and fixated energy. So it might be a time too where you're trying to, you may be, it could be something where maybe an obsession or a fixation on something, maybe conflicting with what you really should be focusing on in your life at this time. Say if the Black Moon Lilith is in the 8th house, it could be somebody that you might have a sexual attraction to, or somebody you're actually in an intimate sexual relationship with. It might be, and it could be, that a biological father, a child, or even a authority figure may be expressing some very negative, adverse, obsessive, and fixated qualities and behavior at this time. And another thing to remember, that the Black Moon Lilith is also associated with very strong, erotic, uninhibited sexual energy. So it might be something where it may be harder to do things connected with your life, taking actions what you want, because you may be dominated by that energy at this time, and it might be causing some distraction or diversion from what you really need to be putting your focus and attention on. The Black Moon Lilith could also be associated with abuse and trauma. It could be emotional or physical. And the thing about this is, it may be harder to do certain actions. It could be due to some physical situation, some trauma that you may have experienced. Say if the Black Moon Lilith is in the zodiac sign Cancer, it can be something with the chest, the breast area, the stomach, It might be causing some problems. It might be more, maybe it's having more of an impact on your vitality and energy at this time. Hold on a moment, people. Now, also, too, another way this may manifest and pan out, it could be the biological father or the child may be bringing out these negative qualities of this placement in you. And say, going back to the Black Moon Lilith and Scorpio as an example, it could be vengeful, vindictive, even sadistic or manipulative qualities, or even toxic behavior. It can be something too where in some cases of physical matter, which could be connected with the sun, and even it could even be issues with vitality and energy, may present a challenge to deal with a formidable adversary, which is connected with the Black Moon Lilith. Now, say the transit sun is in Sagittarius and the BML is in Gemini as an example, it can be some physical issue with the hip or the thighs or the liver. Um, it might be something which is Sagittarius, may cause some difficulty dealing with maybe a mischievous or somebody that's forging things that you have, or plagiarizing some writings, which is Gemini, and that might be causing some issues in order to difficulty trying to deal with that. And uh, another thing too, another way that this transit may be expressed is that the situation with authority figures may be more contentious than usual. It may be due to something that maybe that was unveiled about you that you didn't want to come out, basically. Now, say if the Black Moon Lilith placement is in Aries in the fourth house as an example, it can be some kind of violence or something volatile that happened in a domestic manner, which would be domestic violence. Maybe it's something on the person's record, and it might be also at this time as well that it might be harder to, remember the Black Moon Lilith does have some positive in it. You can embrace the higher level of it, but the thing about it is when that energy would be harder to extract, since you're talking about a negative aspect by transit. It's harder to find, it might be harder to find that energy, which is the sun, to embrace the higher level of the placement of the Black Moon Lilith. If the Black Moon Lilith, say, is in Leo in the fourth house as an example, it might be harder to really bring out the positive energy, and that's such as doing some kind of entertainment from the home, or maybe or expressing extroverted gregarious qualities with those that you're close to home, with your home, your family members, being that dominant person at home without necessarily being overbearing. Things Black Moon Lilith and Leo could also, if someone embraces the higher qualities of it, can also be successful, in flourishing Leo type professions such as like cardiology or acting, being an actress, so anything with drama, entertainment, working with children, uh, sports. So anyway, people, that'll conclude this YouTube astrological segment. Until next time, people, Edwin Learnard saying stay well.